Hi Aries, here's a general look at your solar chart for the whole of 2012. Now, this is in two parts, by the way. This is part one. Astrologically speaking, there's a lot of hot planetary action impacting your sign, has been particularly over 2011. Many of you may have noticed that. We feel a bit ambushed by circumstances and having to very much be on your toes. This kind of thing is going to be continuing in 2012. However, you're going to get some helpers this year. Saturn is leaving your opposite sign, Libra, in October, but well before then, Venus is going to be in Gemini, and so will Jupiter be coming into Gemini in June, and that can be very good news for you. That will lighten things up, I think, considerably. Both Venus and Mars are in very long transits this year. Mars is your ruling planet. Venus is in Gemini from the 4th of April to the 8th of August, but it's being joined by Jupiter coming in there from June onwards, and Jupiter will be there for 12 months and won't come out until June 2013. Now, the Venus energy in this area means good news for you. It's a beneficent planet along with Jupiter. It's going to be in this very versatile, communicative, sociable sector of your solar chart. It rules communications, education, as well as creative self-expression, and it will have a generally upbeat effect on your mood, I think. Now, Uranus is in your sign. Uranus came into your sign properly March 2011, and you early Arians will have felt the sudden changeable nature of the Uranian energy. In fact, it's going back into 2010 for some of you. It can pick you up by the neck and shake you at times. However, if you are open to change, if you stay flexible, and if you go towards the alternative and complementary area, or the techno area, or into areas anyway that you are unfamiliar with, but you know from others that they review favorably, then you will meet the criterion of the Uranian need for change, you see. And so the universe isn't going to come along and shake you up unnecessarily with its own version of change. You see what I mean? So much, anyway. This is what I find kind of helps a bit, but really Uranus will rock the boat from time to time. I call it the Dorothy planet. Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, that got whipped up into that tornado of uncertainty and change and not knowing what was happening, and then set down in a place which is definitely not Kansas. However, she had a great adventure because she was flexible and adapted. So I'm, just using that as an example, but so especially those of you born in the first 10 days of Aries, you're going to be feeling this, or with up to around about 9 degrees of Aries rising, I would say, over 2011. And you might be feeling a bit rebellious. You might be feeling, a bit like you're fed up with being told what to do by people who aren't as, haven't got the brains they were born with. I mean, it can bring out the rebel in you as well. It can bring out the mad inventor, the Heath Robinson in you also, because Uranus is about invention. It's the energy of the magician, the sorcerer, So that side of you could come out also. That sounds like fun. Now, Jupiter remains in your financial area. This is going to be pretty good. If you play your cards right. So that will mean that growth tends to come more through the material area, in practical ways. So some of you could be branching out into becoming more self-sufficient with the veggie plot or whatever. It can help other useful resources grow. But money or property or equipment or possessions, goods, can come to you more readily, again, once you see a potential in something. So this is about capitalizing on assets, but in order to do that, you've got to see the potential, you see. And also don't overlook the potential of you, and you as an asset, and what you can make of yourself, and your inborn talent. Cast your nets wide, think bigger with this transit of Jupiter here, and all you Arians will be feeling the vibration over the first 6 months of the year. And then from the 12th of June, Jupiter is going to shift into Gemini. Very good news for you. It's in an opportunistic angle to your sun sign, into an upbeat, a bit similar to where Venus is going. More sociable mood, good for connecting with siblings, as I've said before, blood brothers and sisters or soul brothers and sisters, and generally you begin to see a range of happier options unfolding before you on a daily basis, in your toings and froings on a daily sort of basis. And the community, the neighborhood, could become a busy hub of exchange. Also through education, you could be socializing more. Through media, the arts, public relations, buying and selling, being a go-between type person, networking, internet, all that kind of thing. You could be socializing an awful lot more. This is an opportunity for you to develop your communication skills, like speaking, writing, or being more creatively self-expression. Good period for channeling your thoughts and intuitions into some sort of body of work which can interest, enlighten, or just help others. Definitely, this is a time when your mental map will be expanding and your knowledge base will be growing, and perhaps your address book will be bulging at the seams for some of you. Some of you could even be learning a new language. You Arians born up until the 7th of April with up to 17 degrees of Aries rising will feel the energy most in the latter half of the year. Now, I want to talk about Saturn. Saturn continues its transit of your opposite sign, Libra, until October. That means that you're in this cycle of feeling perhaps a little bit frustrated or limited by others' demands or stubbornness or rules and regulations. It's not me, but it's the rules. And just having to take more seriously any collaborations, any cooperation, or any partnership. So it could be in your professional area or your personal area. Everything with Saturn goes slowly. So you can be feeling a bit impatient at times, at others, what you see is dragging their feet. Maybe hidden stresses in a relationship are more likely to be exposed at this time, and some of you won't be inclined to paper over the cracks. This thing about Saturn here can make you feel lack. The thing about Saturn, wherever it goes, it can make us feel what's lacking in an area. So this is the area of close relationships. So you might feel that something's missing in close relationships, whether you are in a relationship or not. And on another level, you might like to look back 14 years, because actually 14 years ago was a time when you could have been voluntarily or not redefining yourself and your world. Now that identity that you kind of settled with is now coming up for being tested and weighed in, and you'll have to weigh in the balance which alliances are worth the greater effort now demanded of you and which are not. Of course, some of them you won't be able to get out of, and you'll just have to bear the burden, and probably quite happily if it's that somebody in a love relationship, because of what's going on. But you just can feel that certain others are feeling more awkward or ornery than usual. And you Arians born from the 10th of April to the end of the sign, or from 21 degrees of Aries rising, will be feeling this mostly in 2012, I think. And then Saturn shifts into her, and yes, she is a very strong female matriarchal type, strict matriarchal energy. She shifts into Scorpio for 2.5 years, starting on the 6th of October. And then you're into this long cycle of becoming more aware of what and why and who you can really trust. Also feeling that you haven't got ultimate control over a certain situation, and maybe feeling a bit frustrated about that. Maybe feeling locked into or tied into a contract or an agreement of some time, and just having to do your best working within those parameters. But of course, Saturn, who's very good at building, will mean that you can be building something slowly, over that time there. maybe a project, maybe to do with property, maybe to do with finances, maybe to do with a relationship. But it's almost like, we're just locked into this and we've just got to do our best within this. But from time to time, because it's Saturn, because Saturn's job is to test you in order to make you stronger and to develop your character, then it can feel a little bit emotionally uncomfortable at times, but you will realize that you're stronger than you think. Also, another way this can work is for some people you can feel a cut-off of a certain resource that you've been very, very used to, and it's just not there anymore, and you feel the lack of this. However it's playing out for you, this house that Saturn has gone into for 2.5 years from October is a house of breakthrough. It's a house of transformation. Because it's Saturn, it takes a long time. It's gradual. However, you will shift into a new gear, but you might have to let go of previously held stance or position or habits even, and approaches that you realize these aren't working. So, it will help you shift gears. And on the upside, Saturn can mean great success with you and someone that you can really do business with, and you can do very well on a joint resource, shared resource level, and through an emotional commitment. And you Arians born up to 31st of March or with up to 11 degrees of Aries rising will feel this energy mostly in October. And that's it for part 1. I'll see you on part 2. Hi Aries, this is part 2 of your overview for 2012. Now we got to Neptune. Neptune is transiting into its home sign Pisces on February the 4th, and it's going to stay there until 2025, I think. Neptune works very subtly from behind the scenes for you. It's in the sign before yours. And it's likely that you will more often get pulled into situations where you have to just be a cog in the wheel. You've got to be more selfless. It's not for any kind of personal gain or grandeur. And you early year Arians or your very late Arians, born in the last day, will be feeling the energy of Neptune over 2012. So it's gone into an area of higher service, okay? It's also paying off karmic debts if karma is left in 2012. But however you see it, it's an area of higher service, compassionate service and supporting. So you could be on the receiving end of this at some time, but also you could very much be on the giving end of it. It's also an area to do with spirituality and healing, and some of you may get interested in practices, regular practices like yoga, meditation type practices, and that would be altogether a good thing. It's also very, very good news for the artists among you as well, because this is an area to do with the unconscious, the imagination, dreams. It's very psychic too. Some of you could have strange encounters or experiences as Neptune sensitizes the third eye. It rules the third eye. This long transit of many years will have you working maybe more from behind the scenes or more in sort of helping, healing ways, or artistic ways. And that kind of gives you the gist of the feel of this area, okay? Maybe with charities, that kind of thing as well, where, your action along with others is just underpinning how we're all connected and how everything is all connected and how we need to start growing up and looking after each other properly. You Arians born the 20th to the 24th of March will feel the effect of Neptune most potently in 2012, and also those born in the last day or two. And also those of you with around about 4 or 5 degrees of Aries rising, or the last degree of Aries rising. Now, Pluto will continue to be felt in a hard aspect to your sun sign from Capricorn. And that's been going on for a while now, years, but it'll continue for many, many more years. But it'll move in and zero in on different parts of your sign. So at the moment, you Arians born 25th to the 31st of March, or with up to, from 4 to 10 degrees, 10, 11 degrees of Aries rising, and will feel the influence mostly in 2012. And it's just that you are the chick in the egg, and you're pecking out of the egg. That's what you're doing. That's my picture for it anyway, because this is the planet of evolution. This is the planet of you feeling like you want to be free of outlived or negative aspects of your life, your relationships, your place on the map, your job, just outmoded setups, right? And be more the real you in what you're doing. So it can be working like that. It could also be working in another sort of a way, is that it just brings your demons out. And you've got to kind of deal with those, and it's sort of going into the mythology of George slaying the dragon sort of thing. Also your bad habits, your emotional baggage from the past. This will be a very good time to go in for sort of counselling or psychotherapy, or doing, a kind of sort of a therapeutic journal or something like that yourself at home. This is the planet of death and rebirth, affecting your general life direction. There could be quite radical change going on there, or career, reputation, the role you play in the world, how others see you. It could be around parents as well, whether they're parents who you still see, or it's just the legacy that they've left you in some way. So finding a fresh direction, looking at other options which are going to allow you to be more true to yourself, and steering a new course could very much be the result of this transit, but it will take guts. But just trust that gut. Just trust it. Your head might be telling you one thing, but the gut will be telling you another. And Pluto will give you what you need, but not necessarily what you want. Now, your ruling planet, Mars. Now, did I mention Mars before? No, I didn't. Now, Mars is in a very, very long transit of Virgo. It's going to be there until the 4th of July 2012. And this is dynamically activating your area of everyday work routines, whether they're at a job or at home, and also health matters, health, diet, exercise, and the like. And this hints that you'll be wanting to work harder at jobs, but careful, because you might overstretch your energies. Anyway, with Mars here, you will have the energy to throw yourself into more, working time. But just try as far as you can to make it sort of work that you want to do, that's not tiring you out, that's not a real sort of heavy slog. I mean, or be doing something that kind of refreshes you, as a kind of daily practice, or some sort of health promoting routine maybe, because you need to recharge your batteries. This energy works best, this Martian energy works best actually when you can be in the lead in some way, or if you can't be in the lead, then try to work on your own as much as possible within the parameters of what you've got going for you. And you should be proactive with whatever it is, because Aries, rather your sign, but also Mars likes to have its head, it likes to be in front, it likes to be the pioneer. So you might have to be doing something which allows you to be the initiator. If it's around health, then really getting physically proactive with that, in the kitchen or out there, or in the swimming pool or whatever. And you may be physically able to set things up in a way which suits you better and promotes well-being. Now, there's going to be 2 solar eclipses in 2012. The first is May the 20th at 0 degrees of Gemini, and the second is November the 13th at 21 degrees of Scorpio. The first one is in a good opportunistic aspect to your sun sign, and it's in the communications sector, education, media, travel, transport. So with the eclipse energy here, if you've been putting something off with contacting somebody or writing an important letter, then pick up that phone, or, you know, bung off that email or write that letter. Or it might be something bigger that you know you should be writing or creating, you know, out of some sort of medium that you can use. Also, be the teacher, be the promoter, be the guide, or be on the receiving end of somebody who can, or somewhere that can teach you something, somebody that can guide you. Somebody that can give you a good, honest, unbiased second opinion, and you should be able to use this energy of change very well. Also, it can be new beginnings with siblings, blood brothers and sisters, or soul brothers and sisters. There, it's also very positively favouring those. The second one is Scorpio, could bring new beginnings. With anything around what I was talking about earlier, joint material resources, money, property, equipment, space, or in fact an emotional connection that you have with someone. And again, good new starts can be made here. So take positive steps to review things, to capitalize on what you think you can, call in a debt, pay someone off. Do your homework to get to the bottom of a mystery that's been bugging you, maybe. And that's it for 2012. If you know your rising sign, listen to that too, or your moon sign. And also you might like to listen to the other video, the Shift 2012, where I'll give you a little bit more information. I wish you well. I'll see you the next time, and take care.